We are back at the Nexus with a whole new loadout. Off-screen, I spent all my souls on levels in Strength to get it up to 14 so I can handle the Adjudicator Shield. And I've put on all of my poison-resisting Raggedy armor pieces and the Ring of Poison resistance. So I've got a poison resistance of 309, and that ought to be good enough, because today we are visiting a place filled with poison. It's the Valley of Defilement, also known as Proto-Blight Town. The Adjudicator Shield is handy to have because it adds a slight HP regeneration effect. And the more you upgrade it, the more useful that effect will be. But that's another thing that requires colorless demon souls. And as there are only a maximum of 10 in every game, you have to think really hard before you decide what to upgrade. So we start off right in front of a bottomless pit, which is always a good sign of things to come. And now we've got to climb even higher. This level, or this segment of the level rather, is built on heights and combat over small spaces where one false step means death, and also on things ganging up on you from all directions. I mean, there are other and traps. You can't forget traps. There are other places in the game where you'll have to fight things on narrow walkways above death. But most of the time, the game lets you take those fights on one-on-one. Whereas here in the Valley of Defilement, there are going to be Dreglings and torch-wielding Dreglings that are stronger than the ones in the Bolitarian Palace. And they're going to come at us from all angles. In fact, some of them might even come from off-screen. Or rather, a place that is too far up for us to actually get to. We'll see more of that later. First we gotta deal with this guy. Now, despite the fact that he's wielding flame, fire is the best way to deal with these guys. They're also weak to magic, but I believe they are more weak to fire. And another thing is one-way segments. We can't go back that way, so we have to roll down this way. Gotta be very careful with your rolls. Being encumbered in any way can often lead to death. Like my temptation here is to just roll down there, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't make it, and that would be awful. Oh look! It's an ambush from somewhere we couldn't see. Pinnacle of fairness right there. Fortunately, what that does is serve as a notice to you that this is the kind of thing that you're going to have to expect. That one guy isn't going to kill you, but later on, if they decide to put 2 or 3, they can say, well, you had fair warning. We showed you we were going to do that. He's still not really a fan of it, though. I feel like it's kind of like the up and downs in Mega Man, though not quite as bad as those. Those are pretty bullshit, and almost always result in death the first time you find them. So that plank up there is a shortcut. There are a number of them throughout the level that we have to operate to create new pathways. This lets us get above a giant pile of Dreglings that would otherwise swarm and mess us up pretty badly. As it stands, we can take that guy one-on-one, then turn around and take this ambusher. Further, we can get a count of how many things are down there. Ah, excellent, a talisman. You need a talisman in order to use miracles. And I'm actually going to get at least a few miracles, and I'm going to put some points into faith, because there is one particular weapon that is faith-based that I'm a really big fan of, that I want to show off. Because, I really don't think that many people ever get to see it. Alright, so there's treasures down there. I kind of want to get those before I go on. And because I never want to come back here ever. These soul items are always useful. I don't really use them as often as I should. Though, in the grand scheme of things, those treasures probably weren't worth it. Especially because I can't really see where I'm supposed to go next. I just see that there's another treasure down here. Okay. Also not super worth it, but, a crescent moongrass with, my already low health and being halved again because of soul form, that's not bad. And here we can get the jump on people that would otherwise ambush and kill us. Ring of Magical Dullness is the opposite of the Ring of Magical Sharpness. I'm not a fan. Though, I would use it if the need arose, and I didn't have an appropriate, magic blocking shield. Well, the unfortunate thing there is that ladder did not lead to death. Oh, that's a lot of guys. Okay. But you gotta try to get the one-on-one if you can. You don't want to just rush in, because you will die. They have a flailing attack that hits you numerous times, and numerous times even for little damage is enough to kill you. So, you know how I knocked down that shortcut? Well, I guess I was just feeling so bad about, breaking the sequence and everything that I decided to go back up and around the other way. Kind of makes you wonder which way is the intended way to get around in the level. But, by clearing out the guys above first, I prevented, another ambush down here. Alright. If I had to pick a place in Dark Souls that this was analogous to, this part isn't as much Blight Town. Well, I mean, it's kind of the first part of Blight Town, but it also is kind of a prototype for the Crystal Cave. And that there are a lot of angular platforms and ramps. More specifically, ramps over nothingness. You don't have the invisible ledges yet. Although I was thinking for a second, is there one here? But no, that was just a purely Dark Souls thing. You can see both fog gates from here, which is kind of unique. Okay. Dead rat on the floor. I guess you could call it a clue for things to come, but if you didn't come in here expecting things carrying poison, then I don't know that Valley of Defilement means anything to you. Now there's a nasty trap. Or it would have been if I had gone straight for the item back there. There are two dreglings hiding actually in the hay that'll pop up and stab you to death if you don't, trigger them and then back off. Basically, they'll get you while you are collecting the item. Oh, okay, here's some grossness. These giant tick things are gorged with blood. And the things they sucked it from were poisoned and damned, so that's poison blood. You don't want to be touched by poison blood. Now they do drop Marrowstone, which is used to give weapons the fatal property. Fatal weapons have their critical damage power enhanced. So that's backstabs and ripostes after parries, but their regular damage is decreased. So if you like the bandit knife in Dark Souls, you might like to play with a fatal weapon. I'm a fan of the bandit knife, so I think I'll make one. Saint stuff, I think, is mail only. Not going to use it. And of course, they dropped another guy down to stab us for picking up the item. That's kind of the theme of this level, is watching your back, and also watching the down. I thought I saw another item there for a second, but maybe not. Okay, let's move on. Slowly, that is. Ah, a vendor.
Won't you buy something? My poor child is hungry.
The filthy woman freaks me out. Like, if I ever go on an NPC killing rampage, she's right at the top of the list.
You don't deserve to die. So let me give you some advice. This place is buzzing with pests, fattened on a diet of souls. In order to protect yourself, you must keep a lotus with you. The price of survival can never be too high, can it? Curses, I wasted my breath on you. Did that witch send you to torment me?
The witch refers to the maiden that the game referred to in the description of the Valley of Defilement. I don't think that filthy woman actually... that's her name, Filthy Woman. I don't think that Filthy Woman has a child. I certainly didn't see one. All I see is rats. I think Mario would have an easier time with these rats. He doesn't have to use MP for his fireballs. One of the good things about having a Falchion is that its attack has a downward stroke to it. So you can hit these rats. Other weapons like a rapier or an estoc would not be able to deal with it. A spear. I really, really like the Falchions. So I'm glad that the crescent weapon that they give you is one. Ah, now there is a... that's a giant depraved one. Sorry, the enemies here aren't Draglings, they're depraved ones. It's different, you see. Depraved ones are better. And they come in giant forms. These guys can basically kill me in one hit, and if they don't, they can also knock me off of the level, which is basically the same thing as killing me in one hit. Oh, he's having fun with ragdolls. Alright. Now, if we had pure white world tendency, there would be a ladder here that would let us go into a different secret area. I'll probably show that off later, once I kill a few bosses. And I see that guy up there coming to ambush me. At least I think that's what he's come to do. Maybe he's just taking a stroll. Oh, that's a lot of guys. Okay. Yeah, remember what I said about one-on-one fights? If you don't, this is what happens. You died. Well, I'm back here now. Back up to where we died. But you might note That my bloodstain is nowhere to be seen. And that's because I did something stupid and flung myself off a cliff while I wasn't recording. I thought I could make it, but I didn't. And my penance is to carry around this ragdoll forever. Or not. No, my actual penance is that all my souls are gone. Which honestly wasn't that big of a loss. But it sucks. Especially when... Whoa! Hey! Yeah, we're not having any of your shenanigans again this time. Get out. Right. This time, we're going to take my own advice and go at it one-on-one. Jeez. How many guys did they have up there? I only saw one, but apparently it's more than one. Now the trick is getting these guys to actually, break formation. The game is smarter than you give it credit for most of the time. But by hanging out and rubbing up against the wall, we were able to convince him that he was actually fighting us. And so he came out. Next, we draw this guy out. And he's apparently protected by a beam. That's really annoying. That's one of the problems with Flame Toss, is that it gets stuck on any little bit of geometry. Okay, next up, these guys. Come on. I know you're there. What happened to those guys? Well, that's certainly odd. I definitely didn't kill them. But I guess, I don't know, some sort of weirdness happened and they didn't spawn. But, if they were there, I'd kill them, basically. Oh, standing in leeches, that's disgusting. But it's also a clue as to what the boss of this level is going to be. Now, despite my downward swing, for some reason I'm still having a terrible time hitting that guy. Bug. Thing. It's gross, whatever it is. No invisible walls here. Only ragdolls. Alright, now we gotta stay back because there's a giant depraved one over there. Where is it giant? It's hard to tell sometimes. From far away, the giant depraved... Yeah, it's giant. But from far away, the giant ones look just like the small ones. This would be a really bad time for those two enemies to actually spawn. But it looks like this guy's... Oh, there he is. He was having trouble with ramps. Does not love ramps. Now this guy... Oh, hey! Oh no, that it wasn't... For a second there I thought one of the guys came back to life, which would be very tricky. Oh, for a second there I thought his ragdoll just shot out of the floor into the void. Which, now that I think of it, is probably what happened to those enemies. That happens sometimes in these games. You'll just have a enemy that has a small collision physics accident and goes flying into the stratosphere, or the netherverse, or just somewhere they shouldn't be. Okay, we're getting very close to the end now. This is actually a really short level, comparatively speaking. Which is merciful, because the next one is not. It's one of the longer levels. The second part, Valley of Defilement, is long and arduous and generally horrible. Alright, boss time. Alright, fact. Leechmonger is fucking gross. I don't know what that's supposed to be. If it's just covered in leeches or if it's made of leeches, but it really grosses me out. But note that much like the Adjudicator, well, similar to the Adjudicator, we can attack it from up here. But unlike the Adjudicator, I don't think it can hit me up here. Oh, it throws balls of leeches. That's just disgusting. So yeah, we're gonna do this. Yeah, thrash about. It's not gonna help you. It was really easy. Rather, it was really easy. He is regenerating his health. He's grabbing more leeches, putting them on himself, and regenerating. And I don't know that even with full MP that I can fireball him to death without just running out and having him regenerate everything. Well, his defense mechanism seems to be much more annoying than Adjudicators. The Adjudicator will at least be able to kill you. Whoops. Uh-oh. That's gross. It's all sludgy and unpleasant. Get it off. Oh, the water's also sludgy and unpleasant. It's not working. Shard of Suckerstone. That makes tearing weapons. Can't remember what they do right now because this thing really needs to die. Alright, asshole. I'm gonna heal, and then I'm going to cut you down into your component leeches. Set you on fire and do all sorts of horrible things. Oh, they go flying everywhere when you hit him. This is just... no. The darkness is a mercy, because it makes it harder to see the unpleasantness. Yeah, let's see you heal when you get sword in your face. It's not happening, is it? Nope. Let's just play it safe for the last bit and heal up anyway. Oh, good. That does it for Leechmonger. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of treasures to pick up. Most of them are just Crescent Moon grass. Which is nice. You can never really have enough healing items. But just in case you do, Stockpile Thomas can hold some for you. Faint Stones let you blessed upgrade path. That gives you faith scaling magic damage, I think. And it also gives your weapons an HP regeneration property, much like the Adjudicator shield. I don't really need to make a faith-based weapon, though, because I'm going to go get one. And that, thank heavens, is that.